And I'm an asshole, and that's okay. I piss people off, and it makes my day. Hello, welcome to another episode of Is it John Sees the World? Or is it John Sees the World? Okay, we not sure yet. We probably never will be, and that's how it goes. And, yep, I've got it. Don't worry. It's right here. It's right here. And Richard is with us again. I don't know, man. He can't stop laughing. Don't ask me. I swear, officer. I swear, I didn't light that lighter. Never mind. I gotta tell you. Anyways, today
those painkillers I took for my back.
yeah, that's what it was. It was the painkillers, man. Yeah. Anyways, this episode is brought to you by those friendly folks with the inquisitive minds, the ones who brought you Everybody Poops. Now bring you Everybody Puberties Pop-Up Edition. Oh, yeah, man, these guys have gone too far. Everybody poops to everybody puberties. And I think we know what they mean by puberties. But anyways, if you get the pop-up edition book, you can take one look at it. You'll love that colorful cover and everything. Open it up, and it starts right off. Yes, boys and girls, when you get older, you get hair down there. You turn the page and boing! Oh! Richard, I think she needs a head trimmer, man. Everybody Poops brings you Everybody Puberties. Look for it at a store near you. And that's our sponsor this week. We're happy to have them on board. See, this is the kind of sponsors we get when I got to go out and look for them when you're not here. the whole 350 thing, man. What the hell is that? Pay me 50, man. And what the hell kind of deal is that, man? Oh. Okay, so it was kind of a toss-up as to which subject I want to bring up first tonight. But okay, Richard. You've seen these Japanese sex dolls, right?
Yeah.
I mean, very lifelike. I mean, it's not Sally who went flying out your damn window from the back of the car when she popped the hole. You know, these are really lifelike looking women. Okay, everything's included. I've only got one question. What does a factory do when somebody orders an ugly one? I want a sex doll looks like my Aunt Helen. Oh my God. Put it back on, Helen. Put it back on.
You know that's special commission work. They could do it.
Yeah, that's some real fetish stuff going on there, man.
You're like, okay, we'll talk about this project. You're making modifications to our
our original model.
So yeah, you can customize your own. It costs more. That comes with the premium package. But
Oh man. I just thought that was amusing when I was reading about the Japanese sex robots, and it occurred to me, what if somebody orders a really ugly one? What do they do?
I want to order a morbidly obese. It's got to be like 3 times as much in materials, so it's already going to be expensive. But
what if they order one that's like skin and bone skinny? The what?
I guess that would you use even less You can't. You would have to charge equally, or that would be body shaming. You don't,
Yeah.
you don't wanna do that. You have to charge equally for these. So like the ones that you make more money off of are going to be the scams. They use fewer parts. I mean that's just fact. I'm saying that as if I've been to the fucking place where they make fucking Japanese sex dolls. That's a fact.
Woo! Stop that shit.
It's less materials, but you're charging the same. So yeah.
I almost understood what you were saying there. It sort of went in this here and it paused up there for about a split millisecond or so and said, "Oh fuck this," and it went out the other.
Oh well, I was going about like how what would be like your return on investment on something like that.
I think it's called
the whole range. Of,
I think it's called an orgasm.
Well,
Jesus. Well, you asked, so I gave you an honest answer.
I was thinking purely in price versus materials used and like what can you play with.
I thought it was. I just what the hell did I do if they asked for a really, really ugly one? Jesus. But anyways, tonight's first story. But tonight's first story. Now, this is back when I was at my first print shop, and I was in I think my third year or so there. We hired this kid named Joseph, and Hispanic background and everything, much like myself. And he was kind of full of himself and didn't want to listen to anybody, even though he knew nothing about printing. And like all the rest of us had come in with our head up our ass when it came to printing, but we learned. He seemed to have problems with that. Oh, there it is. Never mind. But, yeah, so me being a, quote, veteran printer at the time, and Joseph just starting out, not knowing his head from his elbow, or his ass from his ass, whichever way it is, I started calling him My Little Joseph. Oh, he hated that. He hated that shit. Oh, My Little Joseph, get over here. Or My Little Joseph, what the hell did you do here? My Little Joseph, why is this like this? He was a funny kid. He went out and he got I think it was a Virgin Mary and holding Christ and type of thing, tattoo outline on his forearm one weekend. Yeah, that you could tell what it was gonna be, but you couldn't see any color. So the next week he shows up to work and it's all colored in, but it looks, what the hell? What the hell did you do? He goes, oh, I took some magic markers, colored magic markers, and I filled it all in so I knew what it would look like when they filled it in. Jesus Christ. You came to work like that. Holy shit. You know how many guys here got tattoos, right? Right, little Joseph? Well, my little Joseph, you know how many got tattoos? And they're going to look at that and go, what the Oh, shit. Anyways, that was my story about my little Joseph. Now, I'm not sure if any of you can have noticed or whatnot. I used to lift weights. I spent 30 years in the gym as a gym rat. I was a power lifter for the most part. Didn't get into the whole bodybuilding thing until about the last year or two I was into it. But mostly it was like strength lifting. And when I was in the service, I had gone to the gym after work that night. A couple of buddies went with me. And I told these guys, yeah, I'm going to do a military lift. Now, mind you, I've done a military lift, time and time again, with various weights and such, and it was no big deal. Wasn't a problem. Everything worked out. Well, this time I went and I put my 35s on either side of the bar so that I could get my warm-up reps in. You had to jerk it off the floor, bring it to your chest, and then press it. It's known as a military press. So as we're standing there, and I'm looking at the bar, and my two buddies are like, well, are you going to lift that or not? I said, yeah, just give me a second. I'm loosening up before I get into it, man. I mean, that's just my, what I rep with to get me warmed up. So I went down, grabbed the bar, picked it up, got to my chest, and it just kept going. Over I went. Got these 45s on either side of the bar. And they're only about like that tall or so. And that's almost as, thick as I was at the time. That damn bar came down. Jeez, that much. Kissed me. Of course, the other two guys who were with me thought I was dead at that point. But yeah, that was me. Mr. I know what I'm doing. Over he goes because of a lousy 145-pound bar. Oh, I was in the HEB not this week, but the week before. I was watching this little old lady and this little old man pushing around their cart in HEB. And she's just sitting there in Spanish, chewing his ass for something, I don't know, and going on and on and on. I mean, she's there bent over her car, and the old man, he was just looking at her every once in a while, and go off and do whatever it was he was doing, just like a little kid, just go wander off and do shit. I'll get back to you later, Mama. And then wander back to the cart again, and she'd be down. I don't know if I was the only one, but I was very amused. I followed him around the HEB just to watch the whole show, man. That'd probably make a great skit, these comedy shows. He just wandered around like some goddamn loose monkey or something. Oh, shit. Oh, man. I don't know, dude. Sometimes. We've also got another sponsor this week. Guess what? Yay, John. He got 2 in 1 week. Okay, our newest sponsor is Psychopath. When you need to kill someone, but don't know how to reach them, don't know where they live, that's when you call Psychopath. Our experienced dead-eyed staff can show you the way. Never miss another murder, gruesome as it may be. We can show you the path. One time? Oh, come on, that's not the first time you're going to kill someone. For a monthly fee, we can show you the path. Psychopath! After all, you're a psychopath, aren't you? And so are we! Where's the beef? We'll get you there. Oh, God. Oh, Lord. Yeah, we've been having fun with this lately. You can see that. Oh man, I do this because I'm retired.
You just killed several headphone users. So.
Yeah, I know. We do this, well, one, I'm retired, so I don't have a job anymore. I live on Social Security, and this is what I do for fun. This is an outlet for me. And Richard, he does this we we could get an occasional smile on his face. And so this is where we are. What's my next story?
Is that your phone ringing?
Oh, that's my phone ringing. What time is it? It's some telemarketer. You know what? It's going to show up on it.
John's got a landline.
Yes, he has a landline. John doesn't own a cell phone.
Doesn't.
Oh.
Won't even get a flippy.
But I'll drink a beer.
Yeah, me too.
So we got to do Psychopath.
Want another one?
No, I'm almost there, I guess. Oh, man, but now this one brings back memories about a friend of mine. This guy I met when I first got out of the service. Met him at a science fiction book club. And since he's gone and he doesn't have any relation around that I know about, his name was William Albright. He was a Vietnam veteran, F4 jock, 2 tours. So he was slightly bent. Sometimes his thinking was completely different from what anybody else would do. It was what they call neurodivergent. What does neurodivergent mean, John? Well, guess what? That's your word for this week. Neurodivergent. If you can figure that one out, then you'll know what I'm talking about. Anyways.
You're talking to the internet, man.
Yeah, I know I am.
That's like...
Yes, but sometimes the internet pays
It's
attention.
pretty 90% neurodivergent.
What are we, the Swedish chef now?
Gonna be in just hanging around the computer all day, you know.
Jesus. So, anyways, Bill was his way of thinking was different from most folks, and what I liked about Bill's way of thinking, it had a twist in it. You know, it was kind of bent out of shape, you know, on purpose and such. You know, had a different way of looking at things. And one of my fondest memories of William Albright was we used to go to Targets or Kmart's. Yeah, there used to be Kmart's here in San Antonio. Occasionally the Wally Worlds, or when they had one, to the Sears or the J.C. Penney's toy department. And we would play with the toys in the middle of the aisle like little kids. Obviously full-grown men, you know. I mean, we both got hair on our face and whatnot. And we're like little kids playing with the toys in the aisle. To the amusement of the adults, who are like, these fuckers are nuts. And then we would stand up, pick up our toys, put them back where we found them, and wander off. Like I said, my buddy William Albright, he had a completely different way of looking at the world than most people do. That I was very fortunate to have come under his influence and realize life's just a fucking joke, man. The problem is we don't get it. Oh, man. Okay, this is another William and John adventure, this story. And I'm going to tell this story. God, I know I'm going to regret telling this story. Bill and I, you know, we were members of a science fiction book club. You know, book clubs are something, you know, you youngin' kids. Book clubs were when adults got together and talked about a specific genre or type of book, you know, and they would sip tea and such. Only in our case, it wasn't tea. I'd, of course, bring a 6-pack of beer. Anyways. One of the members of the book club, once a year, what would happen is people would always be donating to the club because it was a 501(c) at the time. And they would donate paperbacks to the club. And what the club would do, then they would take and they would let, at the end of the year, the club members got to go through the paperbacks and pick the ones they like and then pay what the club would have charged for them anyways. And those were yours. That's the way it worked. We went to this one couple's house one day, Jocelyn and Mary, I think. Yeah, I said couple, Jocelyn and Mary, back in the late 1980s. But Jocelyn was one of those people that was brilliant. She was a genius. But she was also arrogant and annoying at the same time. So it didn't work too well for her. She was the kind of woman that I've literally seen her. We told her, yeah, we need to wash the vegetables before we skin them and put them in the pot or whatnot. And she would take the vegetables, go over to the sink, turn the water, get them wet, and then put dish soap on them. Dish soap. And sit there and wash the goddamn vegetables. Rinse them off. And we're going, what the fuck are you doing, Jocelyn? But she was, when it came to being, stuff, she was a fucking genius. When it came to simple things like wash a vegetable, she'd fuck it all. She was too goddamn literal. Anyways, her and Mary, her mate, her significant other, we're having the annual, or hosting the annual book club choosing. So what happened is the books that didn't get chosen, which are the vast majority of them, would then go to a convention one of our members was going to, where he would have a table and sell as many as he could to help support the group. Well, Jocelyn was just being a little too much like Jocelyn that night, and you know what I was just thinking about? Wouldn't it be too cool if I was explaining the joke to you and we were laughing our asses up and we just did that? Oh, man. I think my mind is there and it's behind me at the same time. Anyways, Jocelyn being Jocelyn, and there he goes. There it is. The green star. Oh, you know who hasn't showed up lately? You know who hasn't been? Sock monkeys! Sock monkeys live! Ah! And ugly sock monkey! Ugly sock monkey and sock monkeys! Ah! Anyways, we're there. Jocelyn was just being a Jocelyn, and I was being a John, which means I was pretty much responding to whatever she had to say with my own quick, witty, and quirky remark. Anyways, I say things got a little heated, and since it was their home, and I pretty much figured, I bought everything that I need. And I looked at Bill, what do you think, bud? You got everything you need? Yeah, I bought what I need. It's time to go. Yeah, I think it's time to go, John. You pissed them off. And then it occurred to me, oh, man, I got to take a dump. A bad dump. We're talking dump truck. Dump truck. Dump truck.
How many quirks are we talking?
Huh?
How many quirks are we talking?
Lots. So I make my way to their bathroom, sit my butt down, and let go. Oh my God, it's stinking. And it's one of those, little, it's just a toilet and the area around it type bathroom. It's like a half bath. So you can imagine the stink is in there and it ain't going away. Yeah. So I finish my business and wipe my yaya and going up, washing my hands, and as I come out the door, Bill is standing there in the hallway, and his open door, Bill goes, what the fuck? And I closed the door. I looked at him. We need to leave now, brother. He goes, what are you talking about? I just took a dump in there from hell. It smells so bad in there. The next person is going to die. And I don't want to be here to see it, man. Needless to say, we left and never did hear anything about the book sale afterwards. Oh, Lord. Well, I've got one last one, and this one is actually this is based on something I wrote one time, based on not an incident, but an experience I had. I was out in Seguin, Texas, one mid morning with a buddy of mine. We were out there to go and hit up the little trinket shops and pawn shops and stuff like that in the area there. Just to see who had what. You know, we figured, yeah, it's a good time to go there. We can get there, no traffic, nobody all around shoving you away from stuff that you want to take a closer look at or stuff like that. And then afterwards, we can go have a decent lunch. So we're walking around. We're looking at stuff, and all of a sudden, something just popped out at me. I'd say it was like an old 1950s, maybe an early 60s washing machine. But it wasn't electric. Well, it was electric, but it had a mangler on it. Now, I don't know if you know what a mangler is. Oh, Richard knows what a mangler is. He's been in the printing business, so he knows what that is. Might have even seen one of these washing machines with the mangler up there on top and the little crank that you could pull your clothing through to wring it out and whatnot. Oh, imagine you get your fingers caught in there. That's why it's called a mangler. So, with this idea planted in my head, at that time, I used to write a lot of short stories, and I like writing a short story that has a lot of comedic elements in it for some reason. I'm just good at that sort of writing. But the story, the Texas Wash Rock, occurred to me, and I got to thinking, what was it like for the first woman who was beating clothing or a pelt or whatever, on a rock to clean it? How did she learn that? Where did that come from? So, of course, based on that, I created two characters. The guy that everything happens to and his buddy. Who, well, if I had a friend like that, I'd probably shoot the son of a bitch. Oh. So I think it was Ook and Ock or something like that. I forget which. And, of course, Ook was the one who got the short end of the straw. He had to be the one everything happens to in this story, which, by the way, he wasn't aware of until it started happening. And he'd look over at his buddy and go, why doesn't anything ever happen to you? Because it's not written that way in the story. Anyways, I at one point had Ook standing there looking at the river and watching, the birds dip their beak in and out and their wings in and out and, tips of their feathers of their wings in and out. And he's wondering why. Why do they do that? Which is a big thing for Ook, let's face it, the guy's got a brain about that tall. You ever seen those? But anyways, he's sitting there wondering that. Then he's thinking, he looks at his friend, the way they go, shoo, shoo, when they put their wings in water. He goes, yes, Ook, I see. Or yes, Ook. Ook and Ook, yeah. Yes, Ook, I see. What if we beat something up and down, something like that? At which point, Ook picks up Ook, takes him to the nearest rock that's wet, and starts beating him up and upside down and every which way you could think of on that rock. And people wonder, where did women learn to use a rock to slap clothing on and get it clean? Well, you've seen what was left of Ook when Ook got done with him. And somehow it led from there, and I went through some other convoluted stuff about washing machines and such, and traced their lineage from the time of the mangler to what we've got now that requires special soap, or so the warranty says. But Richard, you got anything to add to this, man?
You were saying something about a mangler.
Mm-hmm. You saw something in your head and you don't know how to speak it, right?
It was a quote from Family Guy.
From Family. It's not safe for work quote.
I know. He said, baby Jesus was born in a mangler. He said, manger. And it's like,
Oh my God. Okay. If you want to read some of my work, go to my Facebook page. Talking to Flowers in Low Gear. And feel free to join and share your own poetry there. Anyways, this is John and
Richard. Richard.
for does John sees the world or does John see the world? We'll see you next episode.